Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is of course Tuesday, which means another Spotlight Hour. And quite interestingly, we've got Roselia again as a Spotlight Hour featured Pokemon. And I say surprisingly, because it was only on January the 11th where we had Roselia featured last time. So it's surprising to see it around so soon again. Obviously, only around about 2 months ago. So it's weird to see the same Pokemon being featured on the Spotlight Hour very, very soon after one another. Hello. Hey Daniel, how are you? Thanks so much for dropping in. So Roselias have now started spawning, but one of the main features of tonight is the bonus. So of course, every Tuesday night Spotlight Hour, we get an additional bonus, and tonight is 2 times evolution XP. So we're going to be evolving loads of things tonight and seeing what we can get in terms of XP wise. Now we are just over 660.3 million XP. Make sure to keep a tally of that. But Roselia, like I mentioned before, is very, very interesting as a Spotlight Hour Pokemon, with it being around so soon after the last time. So we're going to put a luck egg on and we are going to start evolving some things. Now we have set up a tag here. If we scroll down, we should see 2 times trade evolution tag. So we'll start evolving some of these and get around about 4,000 XP per evolution. So that is definitely the way we're going to be doing it tonight. So definitely get involved in the comments down below if you've got any questions about tonight's Spotlight Hour or any of the events coming up. We've got loads of events coming up on Pokemon GO, as always filled with events. And this week is no different. We've obviously got the Catch Mystery on Sunday, 10 AM till 8 PM, featuring Archon. That's going to be very, very nice. Archon is a really, really cool fossil Pokemon with a very nice shiny. And that is going to be featured on a Catch Mystery event, which basically means it's just going to be featured on field research tasks and also in the wild a little bit more often with a higher shiny chance. So that is going to get featured. There's also going to be higher shiny chances for the likes of Kabuto and Omanyte as well during that event on Sunday. Now the other event that's happening over a weekend is of course Dynamax Raikou. So Dynamax Raikou is the first one of the legendary dogs to make its Pokemon GO debut as Dynamax, and that's going to be very interesting. It's going to only lobbies of 4 people, of course, with it being Dynamax. It's not like Gigantamax where you can have lobbies of 40, up to 40 people taking it down. It is only going to be teams of 4 people, so you're going to have to work on your teams and make the most out of what you have in terms of your counters. The best counters for Dynamax Raikou is of course going to be Drillbur, or Drillbur's evolved form, Excadrill, and you definitely need to be working on those this week, or trying to see if you can get a good one and then powering up its movesets if you can, to try and stand a chance against Dynamax Raikou. So they are definitely the best counters, Dynamax Excadrill against Dynamax Raikou. And hopefully later this week we can bring you some Dynamax Raikou battles right here on the channel as well. So 2 times evolution. Trying to smash it through all these Pokemon that we've marked up for this Spotlight Hour. And we're going to just sit down on a bench which is coming up very shortly, and smash out these evolutions as we chat about the events. Always hate climbing up that hill, especially on the live stream. Always end up out of breath when you're trying to talk and walk up hills at the same time. So if you've got any questions about any of the events that are currently happening or are going to be coming up, make sure to drop a comment in down below and get involved in the comments. Smoliv getting involved now. So all of these Pokemon, of course, I wasn't really into evolving. My evolution badge at the start of this year was around about 7,000. Don't really know what it's on now, but it's definitely more than that. It's a crazy amount that I keep evolving. And I tend to evolve most Pokemon trying to hunt for that XP. Of course, it's 1,000 XP per evolution normally. With the Spotlight Hour, that is, of course, doubled to 2,000 XP. And then, of course, we have stuck that Lucky Egg on, meaning we get 4,000 XP per evolution, which is an obscene amount, meaning that you would normally have to catch 4 Roselias during the Spotlight Hour with an excellent throw to get the same amount of XP as evolving just one Pokemon. So that is why we are trying to smash out these evolutions. And of course, there is Jangamo being evolved. And Jangamo will be featured as a community day this year, with it being the featured dragon type that was shiny in last year's Go Fest. The featured dragon type of Go Fest always gets a community day the following year in June. So June community day this year should be Jangamo community day, which will be very, very cool indeed. Jangamo has a very nice shiny. I hope some of you have already got it. Unfortunately, I haven't to be able to show you tonight, but June isn't far away. So hopefully we can get a few during that community day. So as you can see from most of the Pokemon that we are catching, or we are evolving, should I say, tonight, we have an obscene amount of candy for. Most of them well into the thousands. What I tend to do after trying and get this XP, I tend to evolve stuff until I've only got around about 500 candy left of that specific Pokemon, and then I won't evolve it anymore. I will leave it as it is until we start catching some more and getting some more candies. So there's a Rattata, over 10,000 candy for that. Now, it also depends on the Pokemon as well. If it is a Pokemon which is going to be very useful in raids, so for example, like a Cranidos, then I won't tend to evolve those. I'll keep the candy. And of course, the likes of Rhydon and other Pokemon that are known as the Shundo legendaries, meaning that we do similar sort of damage output, if not better in some instances, than the actual legendary Pokemon. Those Shundos are very, very useful. So we'll save the candies for those ones. And we'll evolve instead all the other stuff that normally would just end up in the bin. So another Smoliv getting evolved. Of course, Smoliv had its shiny released in a harvest event last year. Very, very nice shiny. The olive, instead of being green on top of its head, goes to a black olive. Very, very nice little feature that we did. Magnemite, of course, Gen 1. Been about for a very long time now. Magnemite has a very nice shiny again. And with these, we only tend to evolve these into the middle forms, mainly to save on candy, but also because some of the last forms also require an item. So we try and not do the Pokemon which require an item. Now, some people that are wanting XP for evolutions, they only evolve stuff which is 12 candy, like the likes of Weedle, Caterpie, Wurmple, for example. They are all really good ones to evolve, but in my scenario here, you can see I've got 5,000 Mankey candy. Obviously, with it having a community day in the past, I don't need that much Mankey candy, so we are going to just trade that anyway, or evolve that, should I say, anyway, and just gain on the XP. So again, we'll just clear out what we've evolved so far. And all the others will come up to the top now. So we'll work our way through these. So Slugma, again, another Pokemon with a very, very nice shiny. Goes into a dark sort of grey colour, Slugma. And I'm hoping that after we've evolved some of these, we can do some Roselia catching and make the most out of the lucky egg as well that way. And of course, put our daily adventure incense on and use a bit of Roar of Time as well to make that last a little bit longer. Haunt it. Of course, part of my most favourite family on Pokemon, Ghastly Haunter, and of course Gengar, my favouriteest Pokemon of all time. Gengar is a very, very cool Pokemon. Of course, one of the first icons of Pokemon. In fact, it was very much publicised that when they created the Pokemon series, the Pokemon that they envisaged would gain a lot of interest from the fans when we first released it was, of course, Clefairy. Now, Clefairy was then later replaced by Pikachu when we started bringing out the animated series on TV. A lot of people started to like Pikachu, so Pikachu did become the face of Pokemon for that reason. And Clefairy got left behind a bit, but Clefairy's evolution is, of course, Clefable. And if you look at Clefable and Gengar, they have very similar sort of structure about them, very similar shape, and the top of their heads both have spikes as well. And it was very much rumoured that the rival for Clefable was going to be Gengar. So it was going to be one of the main Pokemon in the game, no matter what. But unfortunately, that didn't happen, and the series decided to go with Pikachu as the main, and then, of course, Meowth as the evil counterpart. So quite a few fur Cocos here from the community today. Now, of course, the interesting thing about Pikachu and, of course, Meowth is that Pikachu's number in the Pokedex is 25, a very well-known number in the Pokedex, of course, with it being the most sought-after Pokemon of the series, the most common, or the most well-known, should I say, out of the series. And then, of course, Meowth is the opposite. It is the rival against it. And, of course, it is cat versus mouse. And, of course, the number in the Pokedex for Meowth is number 52, which is done intentionally because it is the opposite way round of 25. So that's another little fact for you there. Filled with facts today. But Gengar still remains my most favourite Pokemon of all time. And Gengar's name in Japanese actually means ectoplasm, which is a very cool name. Another Crocodile there. And for Coco again, being evolved into Crocodile, and then we'll start evolving some other things. Grimer looks like it could be next. So it's very much a different spotlight hour to the other weeks. So just bear with me while we do this to make the most out of the XP. That is the aim of the game this year at the moment, is to get the most amount of XP. But smashing out the evolves, I would definitely recommend you doing this if you are hunting the XP, whether you're leveling up or whether you've got an XP target in mind, even though you are level 50, similar to myself, then I would definitely recommend making the most out of these evolution, 2x evolution XP spotlight hours. And then, of course, some of the spotlight hours as well, we have 2x catch Stardust, we have 2x catch XP, which is also very good for XP building. So there is a lot of good bonuses with the spotlight hours in relation to XP. And this week is, of course, one of them with the Evolution XP bonus. This time Vaporeon with that Eevee. And we'll evolve that Geodude into Graveler, and then we will delete some of these and start working our way down the list even more. So let's delete these, and we will work our way further down this list. Nice Shadow Primate there, but unfortunately not good enough for us to keep hold of. Meowth now, getting evolved. Of course, Persian, the evolution of Meowth, very much a favourite of Giovanni's. Whenever you go against Giovanni, he's always got a Persian at the start. The Team Rocket boss Pokemon of choice. Vaporeon again with that Eevee. Primeape. I've always had a soft spot for Primeape. It is quite a nice designed Pokemon. Very much enjoyed the fact that they added to that family by adding Annihilate in there as well. Very, very cool introduction. So Fennekin being evolved into its middle form, of course, one of the starter Pokemon, Fennekin, from Generation 8, I believe. Could be wrong there. Somebody might correct me in the comments down below if I am. Ghastly again into Haunter. Awesome looking Pokemon, Haunter. Solosis. I don't know what Solosis is based on. It does look like some sort of ectoplasm of some sort. Ghastly into Haunter again. Now, of course, Haunter is one of the trade evolution Pokemon. You can trade it with a friend and be able to evolve it for free. You won't have to use any candies to do that. So it is pretty cool in that respect. The likes of Machoke are also the same. So that is another good one. And of course, Graveler does the same as well into Golem. There is a few more as well, so make sure to go check those out if you do want to try and get some free evolutions. So Froakie into Frogadier. Again, another cool looking starter Pokemon from the later generations. Of course, we did have a Froakie community day a couple of years ago now, probably. And a very cool last evolution when it goes into Greninja. Very cool black Greninja when it's shiny. Awesome looking shiny. Now Eevee, sorry, Mankey, should I say. Again, getting evolved into Primeape. Let's delete some of these again and move away down the list. I've got around about 100 of these left to go. So we are at least halfway through the list. Can't remember how many in total we actually had. Now we have just got to keep an eye on the time. We did put a lucky egg on just after 6 p.m, but that obviously only lasts for 30 minutes. So we will just check on that in a moment and probably stick another lucky egg on so that we don't start using or don't start evolving without getting the lucky egg bonus. Skrelp into Dragalade, very, very cool shiny. We actually got a shiny Skrelp today. Haven't managed to post it on the channel, but we did manage to get one today. Very, very cool shiny indeed. Had its shiny release just before the Go Fest of last year, so really nice shiny. Centra, been around for quite some time now. And of course, evolves into Furret. Slowpoke, obviously one of those that can evolve two different ways, Slowpoke and Slowking. We are going to go for the Slowking, or Slowbro, should I say. Slowbro and Slowking. We're going to go to Slowbro because that doesn't need an item to evolve. So we're going to go for that one. And that way we can just keep working on the candies for Slowbro without having to use any items to evolve it. Clink now. Cool looking gear Pokemon. Obviously goes into Clink, then Clang, then Clink Clang as a third evolution. So working our way through these evolutions still to try and make the most of the XP bonus. Furret, and again Weedle, very, very nice one because it is only 12 candies to evolve. Now it is really annoying that you can't really skip these animations. It does get somewhat tedious, so thanks very much for sticking with me today. I hope you understand that this is the best way to make the most of the XP. I'm sure some of you are probably doing this yourself, so definitely the best way of making it work for you. Moral into the evolution, which is Ciniotic, I believe, something like that. Yeah, Shinotic. There we go. The normal Zigzagoon into Linoon. Of course, Zigzagoon, one of those Pokemon now, which has two different forms. Galarian Zigzagoon, a very, very cool looking version of Zigzagoon. Very cool when it's shiny as well. It goes to that sort of bubblegum look of red and white and blue. Very, very cool looking shiny indeed. And again, one that did have a community day. So Obstagoon got released as well on as part of that community day. Its final evolution, whereas the normal Zigzagoon only goes into Linoon. The Galarian one does have 3 different evolutions: Zigzagoon, Linoon, and Obstagoon. Weedle again. So we're hoping for a lot of XP during this Spotlight Hour because of all these evolutions. We started on 660.3 million today. Well, at the start of this hour, should I say. We started on 660.3 million. We'll see what we end up on at the end of the hour. So we'll delete those off and go again. So it's actually getting quite lighter here in the UK. We do have the clocks changed as well. We are one of those countries which still changes its clocks backward and forwards. I can never work out why we still do it. I know most of Europe stopped doing that in the last few years, but here in the UK we do still do that. Perhaps if we stayed in the EU we would have followed suit with the rest of Europe and not kept on changing it. But in a couple of weeks' time we do get our clocks changed, which means we have lighter evenings, which means not just half an hour of the spotlight hour will be in the light, but most of it, if not all of it, will be in the light. So that means we can also do our preferred spotlight hour route in the near future. Magnet on there. Blitzel, nearly 5,000 candy for Blitzel, an obscene amount of candy. Zebstrike, a very cool Pokemon. One of the first Pokemon that I noticed actually lights up when you press on it or when it evolves. Very, very cool. So we will just keep an eye on the time. We will do one more evolution and then check on our Lucky Egg, Hoothoot, being evolved as we speak. Again, over 3,000 candy for Hoothoot, so we can definitely afford to evolve some of these, even though we are 50 candy to evolve. And of course, Noctowl is its evolution. So we'll delete those and let's just head back off and see what we're like in terms of Lucky Egg. Let's make sure we put another one on. There we have it. We should have enough Lucky Egg now for the remaining time of the spotlight hour. And let's head back to that tag. Let's go to 2 times evolution and start evolving again. So Froakie again into Frogadier. Sentry. So of course, loads of events coming up in March, including what we mentioned before, the Dynamax Raikou at the weekend. It's going to be about on both Saturday and Sunday. Unlike the Gigantamax days where we've had in the past, it's going to be similar to the Gigantamax weekend that we experienced this last weekend, where they are about all weekend. Now, in terms of the timers on them, whether we are going to have a day timer or a 2-day timer, or whether in fact they are going to be similar to this last weekend where we had half-an-hour timers and then kept on refreshing, I would have to wait and see. But it would be very cool if we did have half-an-hour timers. It means that if you did go out on Saturday and do some, that you won't disturb anything or not being able to do any on the Sunday. It would be very cool if that was the case, that you could just keep on going out and keep on doing them when you can throughout the weekend. That is definitely seemingly the best way of doing these Dynamax events, I would say, because not everybody is available at a set time every weekend. And if we do miss that available time, if other people have already done it and therefore we cannot do another one during the weekend on that spot, then it does become a little bit of a nightmare to make sure that most people in your community have at least got one But the 30-minute timers definitely worked really, really well last week. So I'm hoping that's something that they continue with this weekend. And of course, Dynamax Raikou is probably my favourite legendary dog from Gen 2. It is the Pokemon which actually got me over level 40. So it was Raikou Raid Day many, many years ago. Some people might remember that, some people might not. But it was several years ago. Dynamax Raikou, sorry, not Dynamax, but Raikou itself had a raid day, followed by the likes of Entei and Suicune. They both had raid days as well, but it was specifically on Raikou raid day where we did quite a number of raids, but one of those actually made us go over the level 40 mark, which was actually the top level at the time. There was no level 50. Level 40 was a maximum you could get, and that got us over the level 40 mark to the maximum level. And the raid that we did, the Raikou raid that we did, was in fact shiny, and we have kept that shiny in our collection ever since. Even though it was a brilliant shiny, we have kept it because it is the one that got us over level 40. So it is definitely a memento. So it is for safekeeping, and I believe I've best buddied it as well. So we are definitely keeping hold of that Raikou. So Raikou always has a little special place in my heart because of that reason, because it being the level 40 Pokemon. So I am very, very happy to see it come out as Dynamax and be the first one of those legendary dogs. So we'll definitely be doing those over the weekend. Now, Dynamax Raikou, of course, is electric type, meaning that ground types are going to be the best counter for it. And in terms of Dynamax and Gigantamax that we've had already released, the only ground type that really sticks out is, of course, Drillbur. Now, that is a reason why we had Drillbur Max Mundi. Obviously, its evolution Excadrill is going to be the best counter against Raikou. But that is a reason why they've pushed Drillbur through on the game this week, so that people can best prepare if we did miss out on Drillbur the first time round. You have now had a Max Mundi and a full week where they do appear on power spots, ready for the Dynamax Raikou being released at the weekend. So it is definitely all been done in good intentions by Niantic this time round. And of course, I believe everybody now should have a Dynamax Raikou special research on the events tab on your research. If you go across to the events tab and scroll down, you should be able to see a Dynamax Raikou research, which should give you some free max particles. I would advise, if you go ahead and use your free particles that you get day to day, so your 800 free max particles, use them to complete those challenges on that Dynamax research. And then when you get to the weekend, then claim those research free particles. Don't claim them beforehand, else you will have to use them straight away pretty much. So definitely wait until the weekend until you have to use those. Golduck, the evolved form of Psyduck. Psyduck has a very nice shiny, but Golduck does seemingly disappoint in terms of shiny. We haven't got many more Pokemon to evolve. We've actually got around about 40 left to evolve, so that's decent going. So we'll try and race through these as quickly as we can, and then we can start catching some Roselias. May not be able to get too many, but we will start trying to catch some before the Spotlight Hour. Of course, it is Roselia Spotlight Hour, but you've tuned in while we are making the most out of the 2x Evolution XP. Now, of course, if you have enjoyed the Spotlight Hour, even though it's been very much indifferent, you've enjoyed just listening to me go on about all the facts and wonderful things of Pokemon Go, then make sure to hit that subscribe button, make sure to hit that like button on the video as well, and turn on that notification bell. We do go live a couple of times a week, and also we do put a few videos up every single week as well. But of course, I do work full time, so we are trying to work that around my busy work schedule. And of course, I am a community ambassador as well for a Niantic community ambassador for my local community, which also means we have to host the events, which also takes up some of my time. So I apologise if the amount of videos going up is a little on the low side some weeks, but of course some weeks very similar to the Go Tour week, where we had raid hour after raid hour every single night leading up to the weekend of Go Tour Global. It was very, very much occupied with the community hosting stuff I have to do. So very much occupied that week. So therefore the videos going up on YouTube was of course very few and far between. So I do apologize for that, but hopefully you understand my other commitments. Poliwag getting evolved into Poliwhirl. Now it's getting dark here in the UK, but that also means the temperature is dropping. It's getting quite cold here. Dino, of course, had a community day a couple of years ago and got the featured move Brutal Swing, making it one of the best dart types. Hydreigon got made one of the best dart types with that Brutal Swing move. And then it got outdone because Tyranitar, they gave Brutal Swing to Tyranitar, meaning that that was #1 dart type. And Shadow Tyranitar is very much up there as still one of the best dart types in the game. So something you could definitely work on if you have got a decent shiny or a decent normal Shadow Tyranitar. So not many more evolutions to do. Wartortle, of course, one of the 3 first generation starters. So let's get through some of these and throw these in the bin. I don't mind if they are extra large. 19 left to go. Not many more at all, and then we can start catching some Roselia and doing some proper Spotlight Hour stuff. So that'll be good as well to do on the stream. I think people have pretty much had enough of me just waffling on about Pokemon Go now and all these Pokemon facts. Let's race through these last few and get some Roselia caught and see, in fact, if we can get a shiny in the last sort of 20 or 15 minutes. And of course, we will be putting on our daily adventure incense in that time as well to see if we can get a glaring bird. So that would be very, very cool if we did. Linoon. So we've had quite a few Zigzagoons to evolve. We've seen Linoon a couple of times now. Poliwag. We will just check as well after we've evolved these to see if we've got any friendship bonuses today. We might have a couple of friendship bonuses, which will make the most out of those lucky eggs that we've put on today. And of course, we will have a look and see how much XP we've earned at the end of Spotlight Hour. So we'll do a little bit of a review as we always do towards the end. Persian again. And now the phone's crashed. Let's just restart that app. It's always good when Pokemon Go crashes. Always a nice feature for it to do. We should only have a few more Pokemon left to evolve. Let's just go down to here, and we only have 3 left to evolve. Let's just work on these. Phone crash didn't do us much favours. Obviously, we lost out on time, but what we lost out on time, we can hopefully gain with the friendship bonuses that we were on about before. Now, only 2 more left to do, and then we can start walking around and catching. And in fact, we will get up now and start doing just that. Ready to start catching. So 40 minutes into the Spotlight Hour, all we've done so far is pretty much sit down and evolve. That is pretty much all we've done, and talk a load of rubbish, which a lot of you may have been very much inclined to change the stream. Well, I hope a lot of you found what we were talking about quite interesting, even though I was just yabbiting on. But definitely get involved in the comments down below. If you've been doing Spotlight Hour tonight, how much XP have you got from evolving? Or if you've been catching Roselia, let me know in the comments down below. And we will compare to how much I've got during the Spotlight Hour at the end. So, Roselia, we are going to try and hit as many excellent throws as we can on these Roselia around here. And then there's also a really good spawn spot up here as well, which we're going to make our way to see if we can, in fact, get a shiny one as well. That'll be quite cheeky, bearing in mind we've not played much of the Spotlight Hour at all. Now, Roselia is annoyingly quite high CP naturally in the wild. These aren't weather boosted. This is just a CP that Roselias tend to be, which makes them very, very frustrating to catch, because high CP, higher level means that you probably have to keep using your Ultra Balls or Great Balls to try and catch these. Even though we are hitting those excellent throws, they are not staying in the ball. So we're managing to hit the excellent throws pretty well on these, which surprises me. Thought we were going to be struggling on these. Let's head up here to this very, very good spawn spot up here. You can see him starting to come in. Of course, Roselia is one of those. Hey Natalie, how are you? I hope that you are still playing the game after we managed to talk you into downloading it again. So I'm surprised that we are managing to hit so many good, excellent throws on these. Roselia does like to jump though, so we have to just keep an eye out on that. Now let's go ahead and just check the friendship bonuses to see if we have got any going today. And we have one here. Let's scroll down and see what friendship bonuses we've got. Got none that are going great. which we hold the gift for. That one already went great, so we'll get rid of a 1 day on that one. Let's scroll down and see if we've got any going ultra. That'll be pretty cool if we have. Now, we have got a couple going ultra. I don't think this one is 2 days. And we've got these two, which are only 1 day, so this will be pretty cool to gain towards that XP. Very, very cool indeed. And that is going to be pretty much it for them. So 100,000 for that one, another 100,000 for that one. Of course, normally 50,000, but we had Velvet Lucky Egg on. So we'll get the spawns around here and we'll head back the way in which we came. Sorry, I'm just using normal raspberries on these just to try and make them a little bit easier to catch and more likely to stay in, even though we are using the Ultra Balls. I mentioned before, we are very, very high level. Hey Emma, how are you? Thanks very much for dropping in. Yeah, Spotlight Hour is going good. We've pretty much just sat on my arse really for the first 40 minutes or so, just evolving stuff. But we are getting there with the catches now. We've had no shinies in these 7 minutes of which we've been playing, but we have been evolving a lot of things. Tonight's bonus for Spotlight Hour is, of course, 2 times Evolution XP, which means with a lucky egg, we will gain around about 4,000 XP off each evolution. So definitely something we couldn't miss up on getting. And therefore we decided to evolve loads of Pokemon at the start of this Spotlight Hour. And after we've done all of them now, we are now catching all these Roselias. Trying our best at least anyway. So we'll just see if we can catch all the spawns around here, and then we will start heading back the same way which you came, just because it is getting close to the end of Spotlight Hour. Yeah, always best to try and take advantage of the 2 times Evolution XP and during these Spotlight Hours. Normally comes around once every 4 weeks or so. Of course, Roselia did get featured on a spotlight hour a couple of months ago, around the 11th of January, if my records are right, and that time it didn't have the 2x evolution bonus, it had 2x catch XP bonus, which meant we went around catching all of these. So only 2 months ago it got featured on a spotlight hour, and it's already back again. I don't know if that's on purpose for a specific reason, whether it's to do with the Festival of Colours event that's coming up potentially, with its different coloured flowers. Could be something to do with that. But of course, first time around we did manage to get a shiny on the first spotlight hour back in January. So even more of a reason to try and make the most of the 2x evolution XP bonus this time around. So we will start heading back in the way in which we came, but let's just see if we have got any more things to evolve. We've got a couple of things here, Ponyta being one of them. Roselia isn't a brilliant one to evolve because it does require an item, so you do have to try and use an item each time, which of course you're not going to hold on to loads of items, so that isn't the best one to evolve. As you can see, it does require a Sinnoh Stone, which we've only got 4 of. Bunnelby, on the other hand, doesn't, so we will evolve that. So 9 minutes left of the spotlight hour, and what was a very nice day here in the UK has now turned into a very chilly evening. The sun has completely gone in, as you can tell by the camera. It's very much dark, and with it, all the heat has gone as well. It is very, very cold. My hands are getting very, very cold indeed. So we'll delete these, and we will delete all these Roselias as well. And we will check to see if any have respawned around us. We've got a couple here, so we'll go ahead and catch those. I also believe we've got a route here which we can do on the way back down. Now, a good thing to know about the routes, of course, Zygarde cells spawn on the end of a route. You have to get to the end before you can see a Zygarde cell. They don't just appear at the start or halfway through. They are always within the last 10% of the route. So you do have to get to the end stages of a route before you start to encounter a Zygarde cell, or potentially anyway. Now, if it is a brand new route to you, if it's a route you've never done before, let's say you're visiting somewhere that you don't normally go to, you see a route on nearby, do it, because you are guaranteed a Zygarde cell at the end of every new route. Now, that is obviously only up to your maximum of 3 Zygarde cells per day. So if you see a new route and you know you haven't obtained 3 Zygarde cells yet that day, then do it, and you will guarantee yourself a Zygarde cell at the end of it. If it's a route you've already done, then you will only have a chance of encountering a Zygarde cell. Now, it's probably every route that I tend to do, it's probably around about 50-50 whether I'm going to get a Zygarde cell at the end of it. So it's not something that you need to be wary of having really, really bad odds. It is more or less there at the end of most routes, of course, up to that 3 daily limit. And of course, if you do want to evolve your Zygarde, if you got a good one from the research, then you'll need 50 to evolve it into the 50% form, and then into the complete form you will need you'll need an additional 200, so 250 in total to evolve it all the way. Now let's just see on our storage if we have managed to get anything 3-star, 4-star, which we can delete. Hey Rev, how are you? Thanks so much for joining. To be honest, Rev, you've not really missed much. We've pretty much been sat down evolving stuff for the first 40 minutes, so you've literally only missed 15 minutes of actual catching. So the first 40 minutes we were sat down on a bench, getting colder and colder as the night went on, as the sun went in. Very cold now. But we were just literally evolving, making the most of the 2 times evolution XP, 4,000 XP per evolution, something we definitely couldn't miss out on. But in terms of Roselia's, no luck so far. We're going to just look at... Now, we did have this guy yesterday. Very, very cool. Another shiny scatterbug. And I say another because that is now free that we've managed to get. If we go on here, go shiny, there you can see free. And all 3 are from different locations. So we have a savannah, a elegant, and a garden. Very, very cool. Yeah, 3 shiny scatterbugs. It is an awesome collection. I'm glad that I haven't managed to get the same form of scatterbug shiny a couple of times. I'm glad that it's 3 different ones. Can we spin that stop? We can indeed. I don't even have one. Yeah, I think potentially the odds are really good on them, or my luck is just very crazy with them. So probably the latter. It's probably just my luck. Excellent throw on the Roselia. And a great throw that time. Surprisingly, he seemed to be very easy to do the excellent throw until Roselia decides that he wants to jump up in the air, as all flowers do. Not. I believe it might be somewhat decent. It depends, of course, if you end up going against any water types. It might be decent for that. But yeah, I would definitely say it's probably better. I don't think I've seen many of the top PvP players using Roselia or Roserade in their teams. There's probably more preferred picks, but it might be a surprise pick. You might catch a few people off guard. But I would say, of course, if you come up against any fire types, then it would definitely get wiped out very quickly indeed. And there we go, we have a Zygarde cell. And we have Mateo. Let's exchange a gift, Mateo. You can have a gift of mine. And I will have a gift from Norway. Thank you very much. We'll pin that and then we will get another one towards the scatterbug. Complete a route, get the XP from a route. 1 minute 34 on our lucky egg, but less than a minute to go on the Roselia Spotlight Hour. We will just carry on a minute after the Spotlight Hour is finished. There you go, Spotlight Hour is now finished. I can tell you that we've had no shiny Roselias. 4-star, no 4-star Roselias. And only 2 that are actually 3-star. How good are these ones? Not a very good one at all. And another very disappointing one. Pansear, as of course our most wanted shiny of last year. We did finally manage to get that. Blitzel, of course, been featured a couple of times on Fashion Week with a scarf as a costume. Cottony did have a costume as well on one of the events last year. I think he had a flower crown, I believe. Ten seconds to go, so this watchdog will probably be the last thing that we catch with the lucky egg on. If we can catch it, that is. No, it didn't say it. We missed out on the XP on that one. But nonetheless, we will have a quick look and see how much XP we have earned in the Spotlight Hour itself. So, Ghastly there, shiny, no. Worth checking. Worth checking before we did a summary. And of course, Lickitung very, very much boosted. 1 in 64 shiny rate for that. Ferroseed, a full odds shiny. So, Spotlight Hour is finished. Roselia Spotlight Hour, that is, has finished 2 times Evolution XP. We started the Spotlight Hour on 660.3 million. So let's have a quick look and see what we've ended up on. 661.52 million. So an increase of 1.22 million in just 1 hour. So nearly 1.25 million in just 1 hour. That is an obscene amount of XP. And of course, we've got no shiny Roselia, and of course, no Hundo Roselia, because we only did about 20 minutes of that Spotlight Hour because we were sat there evolving. But 1.25 million XP pretty much in the hour. Very, very cool amount of XP. And all that from just pretty much sitting on a bench evolving. So very, very good Spotlight Hour. Let me know in the comments below if you've done Spotlight Hour in your area and what you've managed to get. But that is going to be today's Spotlight Hour video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Tune in on the videos coming up this next couple of days. We've got a couple of Pokemon pack videos where we've got a surprise mystery box that we're going to be opening, as well as an ace grading card box, which we are going to be opening to reveal what the cards I sent off to ace grading got in their grading scores. So let me know on the channel if you want to see that. Thanks very much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.